Da 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 da. Okay, so we are trying something. We over the last month, or a little more than a month, I've attempted to make the Wolfman analysis, but YouTube and Google Hangouts have had a bad breakup, like really, really bad, like Neil Sedaka song kind of bad. And so we've tried to do all these analysis videos, and they've kept like shutting down after 30 minutes. And so what I've decided to do, if this will work with us, is to actually start over. We're gonna leave the old videos there in case I get to a question that or that I answered in a previous thing that I haven't answered now, but we're gonna try. And is it working? Is the link? Do we know if, because we're trying this again with Google Hangouts in a weird back doorway. Is it really jittery on yours, or is it just mine? Yeah,
there's a delay, so you'll have to wait like.
It is a little jittery.
Too much coffee.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, I guess this is just punishment for trying to do the Google Hangout. So it kind of makes it seem like I'm talking from 1999. It just needs to be like green. But I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna keep fighting the good fight until we get it. Because man, this has been tough. So there are two films that I'm going to go over, which is the Wolfman 1941 and Wolf, the Jack Nicholson film. I believe it was 94, or maybe earlier. But I'm going to go over those two films and answer as many questions as I can to start getting caught up on all the previous stuff that we missed. So let's. My helpful assistant Alyssa is back with all the questions. And if it's as jittery as my playback is, I'm so sorry. I don't know why.
Okay, do you want to start from the very, very beginning?
Yes, let's go. Let's.
Okay. All right. So we have Kenneth Tabor.
Kenneth.
Woo! The silver bullet is the Achilles heel of the Wolfman. In some stories, anything can kill the Wolfman. Your thoughts on the silver bullet?
Yeah, okay. So the silver bullet thing, I don't know exactly where that originated from, because obviously werewolves have been a part of folklore for quite some time. But where silver is the thing that actually hurts them versus regular bullets, I don't know where it comes from exactly, but somewhere along the lines, it would be fun to research this actually, where the silver thing comes from, because it's, you know, a known thing is silver bullets kill werewolves, but every movie kind of changes the lore of werewolves. Like every movie, they have a different background because there's no original source like Dracula or Jekyll and Hyde or any of those kind of things, where they actually have like a novelization to base all the facts off of. Werewolves and wolfmen are kind of just kind of thrown into the mix, where you kind of make it up as you go because there's so many different lores to it. Next question.
Okay, I was looking at the silver bullet thing because I had looked it up.
Oh, you did?
I did, but it's not. It's
to be continued.
It's stuck. Yeah. Okay. Kenneth Tabor.
Kenneth?
I think the Wolfman appeals to me more than any other because it's the idea of being a pure beast, no real thought or mind of their own, all instinct. Unlike Hyde, who personified the perverse nature of mankind, the Wolfman is the primal nature. What is your thoughts?
I kind of agree on this. The Hyde is the creature you want to be, and the Wolfman is the creature that you don't want to be. Because if you're in the room with your best friend and you turn into the wolf, you may kill your best friend, go out of this crazy bloodlust. Where Hyde may not kill the friend that he likes. He might torture him if he thinks he'll get like some kind of fun out of it. But yeah, so it's kind of like a weird hybrid. But then again, they changed the Wolfman lore so much that sometimes the Wolfman can be controlled. Most of the time in all the basic stories, he's just a wild monster. So yeah, I definitely agree that the Wolfman, before I started the study, the Wolfman was my favorite of the monsters just because of that channeling an animal. But I think it's more werewolves, which are more animalistic, where Wolfman is more bloodlust, just crazy, insane. Kind of just more of a monster than like an animal. At least that's what I've gotten so far.
Okay. We have Jared Kearney's questions, which are very lengthy, so we'll just, and it cut off, so I'm going to have to look them up. But we'll start with, from Jared Kearney, how strong or should a Wolfman be? Say he is said to have the strength of 10 men. Like Dracula, the average man can bench around 200 pounds. That means the Wolfman could bench around 2,000 pounds or a small Honda car. It cut off.
I think I remember where he was going with that one. Yeah, it's weird because they do say that Dracula has the strength of 10 men, which is amazingly strong. Then again, they never say exactly how strong each of those 10 men were. I'm guessing just average, but even average it's amazingly strong. I don't think the Wolfman is as strong as Dracula. He's definitely aggressive and agile and a vicious monster, but I don't think he's got the strength of 10 men. I think he's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 men, something to that effect. But I think it's the agility and the wildness to him that makes him dangerous to said vampire that would be fighting him. They might have him on strength, but if you pick up a cat and the cat's pissed off, you definitely are stronger than this cat, but it could tear you apart. Even though your strength obviously is so much more than the cat, is so wild and vicious when you try to cook them, which you're not supposed to. I've learned this. But yeah, so I'd kind of look at it that way. I would definitely say vampires are stronger, but Wolfmen are up there.
Okay. Jared Kearney, how much of the man is left? Is he witness to the events like a passenger, or is he simply not aware at all?
See, that kind of depends on the movie and the lore. Like, and some of the times they just black out, wake up, and they don't know what happened, which is the average movie. But every once in a while, there's one where they like have some kind of remembrance of something that happened. So I don't know. It really depends on the lore of the film. I guess I'll get into the first movie, which was on my list of 10 movies to watch, which was The Wolfman, 1941, the Universal film, which came way later than all the other Universal films, but which is interesting because I think Werewolf of London was a Universal film, which was in the 30s, but the one that they chose to be the franchise Wolfman that goes into all the sequels, well, not sequels, but cult monster mashups, was the Lon Chaney Jr. version. And I don't know exactly why they chose that, even though they had one prior, but the storylines were very, very different. In the 41 one, they do link it to like a devil dog, like more of like a satanic, like with the pentagram on the hand, and he's more than just like an animalistic man dog. He's kind of like a hellhound. And a lot of times with Wolfmen, they go satanic, where werewolves, they go more animal. So it's interesting how they do that. And the 1941, it was a silver cane that killed both werewolves, but it didn't pierce their heart. But granted, in the sequels, Wolfman survived. But Universal kind of would make sequels and not expect you to remember the last one, because they would just change the story completely from movie to movie. But yeah, I'd say all in all, I mean, it's one of the classics. It's probably not the best of the Universal films, but I would put it above some of the Creature from the Black Lagoon sequels. But yeah, so that's Wolfman 1941.
Okay, Jared Kearney, question number 2. How does the transformation take place on a biological level? The Wolfman grows hair where typical humans do not have hair follicles. Does that mean once he is bit, hair follicles begin to develop but remain dormant until the change, or once a change happens, do the hair follicles appear? Also, how is the bone reshaped? Clear, the forehead bone changes, the femurs elongate, etc. However, bone is typically a fixed solid. Is there some kind of biological mechanism that sends calcium to the bones? If so, where does the calcium come from?
Well, I mean, I think they approach it in a very supernatural way, where like you don't have to explain anything because it's supernatural. I have not come across a film yet that really just approaches the science of it, but I might eventually, which would be kind of cool. Some of the wolfouts, I mean, yeah, they would just grow fur in places they didn't grow fur, and usually their feet would back and go invert. I think even in the 41 it did. He just grew fangs, kind of strengthened bones, and his feet were inverted. But then there's some werewolf movies where like the whole werewolf comes out of their body and they shed their skin, and then the human will come out of the wolf and they shed their skin. And so I don't know. But I definitely think it's very supernatural, and it's one of those things that's just decided by movie to movie and what lore to lore they do. But it would be cool if there is one out there. If you guys know of a werewolf movie or Wolfman movie that actually deals with the science of it, I'd like to check that out.
Okay, Jared Kearney again. Why do you think the wolf is manifested in folklore more than any other animal as the one humans transform into, or partially into, as it were?
I think that the choice of wolf is because I think every continent has a version of a wolf, so they're more common versus like a lion that's kind of designated to certain continents. Even Africa has got coyotes, so or jackals. So there's like a form of wolf everywhere, even though there's not wolf. I think they're rodent, but they still kind of have that resemblance. And the fact that dogs are such a part of our lives. I mean, we've domesticated and mutated dogs. I mean, for our ridicule and enjoyment. I mean, a pug is just a mutant wolf because they all came from gray wolves, but we bred them to be mentally retarded and about this big. And like, I mean, we've done terrible, terrible things to dogs. Mankind, not so great when it comes to that. We're playing God with wolves. But I would definitely say that the wolf, mainly my guess is that it's so common and every continent has some version of wolf, and dogs being a part of every continent as well. I'm guessing that's why, or they're actually real. It's a possibility. And just there's no were-panthers that I know of yet.
Okay, here's a question from our friend Stephen Hart from Down Under.
Stephen!
Woo! Does the Wolfman do it doggy style?
I'd imagine so. Because most of the time I would imagine they're trying to run to get away, and then he would grab them. And dogs do it that way.
Dogs do it.
We just broke
out the song.
Yeah, we just broke out in the song, and dogs do it. Yeah, I would guess doggy style just because it's so much of the beast is taken over that it would probably just do that way as well. But there are some Wolfman movies where they kind of use like a hide thing and then they kind of go any which way. But I would say doggy style is probably. Wait, who would have thought I'd get tired talking about doggy style? All right, next question.
All right, Stephen Hart.
Stephen.
If the Wolfman eats someone, does that make him a cannibal?
Well, it depends on how much of the man is left. But I think they're because they eat a person and they put it in the stomach and then they turn back to a human in the morning. I guess that makes them a cannibal because they got human in the stomach when they're no longer a wolf. That remains of corn and fingers.
Some jello pudding.
And some jello pudding. All right, next question.
Stephen Haar, is Dracula Wolfman's natural enemy / rival?
I don't know. They some movies would really like us to believe that. They really want to pit those two together. One is about nature and one is about the undead. So they are coming from very different standpoints. I don't know if they're natural enemies, but they definitely would be enemies.
They don't seem to like each other.
No, I don't think the Wolfman really likes anyone. Like, I don't think he gets along with anybody. So I don't know. But I would definitely say, you know, they probably don't have tea parties together, but I don't know if they hunt each other out either.
So Stephen Haar would like to know, how are things in the Darkstone universe?
Darkstone universe is going good. I think I remember answering this one before. There's a lot happening. So many shows, so many movies getting released, and just stay on our Darkstone page, and there's something every week, if not more.
Okay, Emily Kate Cantowin, what is the earliest Wolfman folklore you've seen?
We talked about this too. I'm gonna just to cover it again. The earliest I found was Gavon, which I think was based on like Brotherhood of the Wolf. It was the lion that was released in England or France, and it was just running around killing people, but everyone thought it was like a werewolf because they didn't know there was no damn lions. At least that's what the movie was about. And Gavon is on my research, but I don't know the full story of him, but I will soon, and so I'll be able to report on that more.
Okay, Stephen Haar, if a man has heart problems and turns into the Wolfman, would the stress of turning affect his heart and give him a heart attack? Would said heart problems cross over to the Wolfman side?
I would say that there's a strong possibility that if the Wolfman the guy is turning and he's got a sick heart, it would kill him. But if it does survive the transformation and werewolves are still invincible and can only be killed by silver, then that means things like cancer, AIDS, disease, that stuff's not going to work. So I would imagine that anything that was weak in their body would heal if they survive the transformation. That's my guess. It seems that most of the lores would have gone that way. And yeah, that's my thought.
Okay, Emily Kate Cantwin, what about wolf women?
Oh, there's a ton of wolf women. I think we remember this one too. Skinwalkers, She-Wolf of London, Howling 2, Howling 1. There's tons and tons of wolf women, and nothing scarier and hotter than a werewolf woman.
Sorry. Okay, let's see. Totally lost my place here. Okay, Kenneth Tabor. In some lore, if you become the Wolfman, it heals the human too. Would that keep a man from aging?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some stories where werewolves are immortal unless they get killed by silver. And then there's plenty of them. The average Wolfman story, they don't make it through the end of the movie. They usually die at the end of the film. But I would imagine that if it's silver's the only thing that can kill you, that you would age, but probably over a long period of time. Like you would live a lot longer than the regular person. But you would eventually, well, I don't even know if you die of old age. I'm not sure how that would work. You probably will like get very brittle and not so good after like 1,000 years or something. But it's an interesting idea, and I don't really know. I mean, it's one of those things that just depends on the movie and what lore you're looking at. But I like the idea of an older wolf. So in my version of it, I think they might age as well. So maybe silver bullets or old age might take out a Wolfman.
Okay, another one from Jared Kearney. If a Wolfman was discovered in modern times and was blasted all over the media and confirmed by multiple scientists, etc., would he be hunted and feared, or would rights groups protect him? Basically, what would happen if one was discovered today?
I would think that if it had the ability to heal, very, very rich people would be hunting it to learn how to get immortality or to heal disease or any of those things. I think that it would be a terrible, terrible situation for the wolf. I think there would be some animal rights people that would probably try to fight for it, but then it would eat a couple of them because if it's the regular bloodlust Wolfman. And then they might change their tune on that, maybe. But there's no taming these kind of creatures. So I would guess they would be hunted and used for science, especially for people who have a lot of money and want to live forever.
Or that dentist would shoot him.
Or the dentist.
The dentist who shot Cecil the lion.
Oh, right.
Mm. Oh, question.
We got political there.
I know I did. Okay, Stephen Harr, if a werewolf drops a gravy nugget before turning human, does he still need to wipe his ass? And if some got stuck on his fur, what would happen once he became human?
I like gravy nugget. I've never heard that before. That's gonna stick with you. This is definitely a new question. I would say a bad situation no matter what. I mean, it depends if like the Wolfman poops like a human, because like, you know, wolves don't have butt cheeks, but I'm guessing Wolfmen do. So that gets messier when you have the butt cheeks. I'd say it's a bad situation whether you do it before or after. There's going to be poop on your fur and poop on your butt. That's my educated guess. Poop on the butt.
Okay, Stephen Harr would like to know, what are your thoughts on the werewolf-vampire hybrid from Underworld?
Oh, I thought it was a cool idea. It was. I enjoyed actually the third one, the period one, quite a bit. I definitely really liked that movie, and they're fun. They're fun, and I mean, I don't know if I like the look of the creature, but the concept of the creature was good. He kind of looked like an angry Smurf, because he didn't look much like a werewolf or much like a vampire. He just was blue. So I don't know about that part of it, but the concept of it I thought was pretty cool.
Kenneth Tabor is commenting on that. Werewolf/hybrid of vampire was too far in my opinion. Cool for movies, bit too much.
Yeah, I could see that. They do a lot of common things in the vampire werewolf mashups. That a werewolf bite just kills a vampire, like a disease. It's just they get bit and they just die, kind of like a zombie bite would kill a human. I've seen that a lot, but not the other way around. Vampires bite a wolf, nothing really happens, but the werewolf who bites a vampire seems to do a lot of damage. But yeah. All right, so I'll talk about the second movie, which is the only other movie I'm going to talk about on this one until the next show, and we'll talk about like 4 or 5 movies. This was Wolf, 1990 something. Jack Nicholson.
94.
94. Love this film. I've forgotten how good it actually was, and I think that Nicholson is kind of somebody that. I think you learn to, like, I think when you're older, like, you see him when you're younger, he's entertaining, but I think you learn like a fine wine. Like, when you're older, you can kind of see his performance as so much more than what it was. I still love the idea that they had James Spader and Jack Nicholson, and they said, I want you to go like just the fact that those two guys who are so deeply dramatic do the just growl kind of makes me chuckle on the inside, because you've never seen them do anything like that before or after that I know of. Love the film. It had a different concept. It wasn't Demon Dog, but it was the concept that in 30 days you turn into the wolf and stay the wolf unless you wear a pendant, and then it keeps the wolf at bay. Sometimes it gets rid of the wolf, but sometimes the wolf will come back. But then you turn into a full wolf by the end of it and don't turn back into a human. But I also really liked what they did with when he was human, gaining some of the abilities of the wolf, like smell, taste, charisma. Like, he kind of gained all these abilities as a human, and that was a great idea and a good concept to deal with. The other factor, which is the weird story in Wolf, was he bit James Spader, and Spader became the wolf. But he also bit a hoodlum and took off his fingers. And that guy should also have become a wolf. So I want to know what that guy's story was, because he survived because Nicholson kept the fingers, but then it showed his mother complaining that if he was a white person, it wouldn't have been as bad. So there's a black wolf out there somewhere, which I think that story as a short would be pretty cool, because Spader was able to go to Nicholson and figure out what was going on. This guy knows nothing other than I was bit, and now I'm changing. And then he would have became a wolf running around New York, because Spader and Nicholson were in Michelle Pfeiffer's place out in the middle of the park wooded area, where this guy would have just been in Harlem or at Central Park, I guess is where the attack happened, and turning into a wolf. That would have been a kind of a cool story. But yeah, overall, I would definitely suggest going back and watching that movie again. It's worth it. It's a lot better than I remembered, and it's one of my tops for Wolfman so far. It's a hard one to beat.
Okay, question from Jared Kearney. We're up to September 8th. How do you see the Wolfman being portrayed in the future?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how technology gets involved, because we're in a very techie world, and I'm sure that there'll be some kind of technical advance either to hunting wolves, dealing with wolves, or hopefully they'll get into the science of it, which will be, I think, fun and entertaining. Yeah, I would definitely say it would just mix in with technology in some way, just because everything that we do now seems to be wrapped up in technology.
Oh, sorry. Stephen Har, can one elude the Wolfman by making him play fetch?
You could try and hope for the best. I don't think so, but we never know, because they're not exactly dogs. Now, if it's a person that's running and then you say fetch, you might have a better shot. So find a friend you don't like and have them run or throw them and hope for the best. That is my educated guess.
On the same subject, Emily Kate Canowin is asking, would a dog whistle affect a Wolfman?
Yes, they've gone into that. If it affects the wolf, it will affect the person. I've seen a couple of them. Teen Wolf actually dealt with that, where the guy was blowing the kid was blowing a dog whistle, and he could hear it until eventually he got the kid to stop doing it. So I would say yes, if they have the wolf abilities.
Christopher Lumser.
Hey.
Just remember, kids, if need be, kick Wolfman in the nards for a quick escape.
Yes, it's Monster Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfman's got nards. That's why he had to have wolf shorts and not free-flowing. Although, there definitely is the question, does his dick become inverted like a wolf, like, Red Rocket? Or is it just a human penis with a lot of fur? I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think I'm ever going to. But it's either the body changes where like a dog's penis just becomes inverted and then just comes out when, it's that time. Or a human dick just covered in fur. Only time will tell.
Kind of wish you didn't go there.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about it. Like, oh,
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Red Rocket.
All right. We are now up to our current show, I believe.
Oh, cool.
I think so. All right. Well, I printed one out. So, Jared Kearney, does the curse prolong his life?
Oh, I think that was he was re-asking the question. I think they had prior, just in case we missed it. The concept is it depends on the lore in the movie, but I would say yes, if just for the healing factor. He may not be immortal per se, but definitely living longer. I would guess that to be true.
Okay, Stephen Hart posted a clip from Tales from the Crypt, Werewolf Concerto.
Oh yeah. That is my second favorite Tales from the Crypt. That's the one with Beverly D'Angelo and Timothy Dalton. But my favorite werewolf one was the little boy who gets adopted by vampires.
Oh.
That was a cool Tales from the Crypt episode. I think it might be my favorite. But yeah, Tales from the Crypt, those are always fun. Although, to successfully survive a Tales from the Crypt movie or episode, don't kill anybody. You'll probably make it.
Okay, Rhonda Hicken says, "It's a wolf, it's a wolf." Laugh out loud.
It is a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
You are right.
Yes, indeed. Kenneth Tabor, in the 2010 Wolfman, it seemed that the father was in some form using the wild side to carry out his deeds, killing one son, framing the other. Do you think the wild side can be controlled?
Well, we'll eventually get into that movie more because that is on my list. But I would say because that one I've watched at this point, it was like it was kind of controlling a tornado. Like you can direct it in a way, but I don't know if he was controlling it when he was a wolf. He just knew that if he was a wolf and something was in his line of sight, he was going to aggress that. And so that's my guess, is that it's more of like, you know it's going to happen, so you try to set it all up to get it to happen the way you want it to happen and hope for the best.
Okay, Kenneth Tabor, silver, wolfsbane, curse, and feral nature all seem to be the key ingredients for a proper wolfman. What aspects do you see?
Well, I mean, once again, it changes from movie to movie with the lore. Like wolfsbane is sometimes a repellent, and then sometimes wolfsbane grows when it's like an alarm that there's a wolf, and then in some ways it's actually like it makes them stronger. I definitely say wolfsbane, if you do a success, or if you want to make a successful Wolfman story, you need to incorporate silver, wolfsbane, the moon, and the bloodlust. I think those are important to a Wolfman story.
Okay, Kenneth Tabor, as a director, you see scenes differently than most others. In the Wolfman 2010, what scene or part of the story was impressive to you?
I'll get into more of that, of course, later now that you guys know that we're going to do them all again. I definitely would say I liked the all fours. I liked getting down into the all fours and the speed of it. I also like that at the end of that movie, they know Wolfmen are real. Like he kills an entire, like he runs rampant through the city. My favorite part about the entire film was just how they didn't hold back on the gore. They really went for it, and they made it rated R and kept it in that fashion, which I think was a very strong way to go about it. And I think that's where some of the others have kind of failed because of PG-13 audiences to make more money, and so they don't get as dark as the story could be. But I definitely say that the rampage of London was fantastic.
Okay, Stephen R. and Asante Gautier both asked the exact same question.
Okay.
So they must be together because it's even written the same. Do you think we are all part Wolfman, but some people are able to tap into the wild animal within a hell of a lot better?
Well, I would say that it's a possibility that everybody's got a totem animal. People I know, it'll just hit me that like that's your totem animal, and then I'll just see that animal with that person. But that's also just in my noggin. Yeah, I mean, in Wolf with Jack Nicholson, they said that some people could just turn into the wolf without being bit, just because it's so much a part of them that it just happens. So I don't know. It's tough to say, but it'd be cool if that was the case, I think, because sometimes people connect with animals, like a certain animal, more than any other, like if they are part of that culture.
I got nothing else.
We are done with the first episode, which I think we've gone over 30 minutes, and we've had this jittery problem, which hopefully will be fixed by next time. I will post this in a couple days, in like a week or so. We'll do a Wolfman 102 part 2, and we'll do a 103 again. And now that we'll see how it all works and how you guys.
Oh, I found a question.
Oh, we have one more question.
Ooh. Oh, two more. Stephen Hard, do you think the Wolfman, while in human form and aware of his infliction, summoned the skills of Dr. Jekyll to help find a potion to cure his disease?
There has definitely been in some of the not Wolfman, but monster mashups. I think one of the, I think it's House of Dracula. They all go to a doctor to try to cure themselves. I've never seen Wolfman versus Hyde, but I know there's got to be something out there that exists. And it'll be really, really fun to visit that in House of Horrors in my version. I'm looking forward to that. Just the concept of one guy at one end of the hall going, listen, I'm about to change, and it's going to be really bad for you. And the other guy going, no, 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 you don't understand. I'm about to change, and it's going to be really, really bad for you. And then just what happens next. That's a fun concept.
Okay, then Stephen Har was wondering if the Wolfman lost a limb while in wolf form, but the Wolfman didn't die, and Dr. Frankenstein used said limb for his new creation. Would said creature, or at least the limb, turn into a wolf or wolf part at the next full moon?
I would guess if the blood mingles, it's just like being bit. So I would say yes. I would say that would probably transfer the curse. Just if you digest and put the wolf blood, the werewolf blood into your body, you will probably get the effect. How it might not be as natural, it might be a little bit more skewed, but I would definitely say it would be there. But all right, guys, so that's the end of our first show. I will post when the next show will be, and yeah, guys, just let us know how we did, and if you liked the jittery. I don't know if you guys are seeing it the way I am, but not great. All right, we will figure this out. Da, 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 da.